everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learned over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And for today's video, I'm going to be doing a repot and chat. I've got a massive plants repot. I've been meaning to repot slash re-moss pole my variegated monstera for such a long time, and it's got to the point now where she's outgrown this room, so she also needs to be moved to a new location. So that is what we're doing in today's video. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start off by doing the moss pole for her. These are just really cheapy kind of slot together moss poles, which are great for making a massive one, but they're not the best thing that you could use. Ideally you would be using a proper moss pole, but I had loads of these left from when I was doing my shop, and I thought, why not use them? I can always replace her moss pole down the line if I need to. So they're great because you can build them really high, but they do wobble about quite a bit. So I think what I'm going to start off by doing, I've got a lot of them here. I think what I'm going to start off by doing is just kind of gluing them together to make them a little bit more secure, and then leaving the top ones to slot in so that I can move her about a little bit more easily. So yeah, I'm just going to start off by gluing these together and try and get them a little bit more stable. Okay, I think that's working. That does feel all right. So I'm gonna just carry on and make a really big one, and then I'm gonna have to try and bring her over, which is gonna be a bit of a mission. I did contemplate chopping my variegated monstera, kind of trimming her back and propagating her, but I might be moving to a place soon that's got really high ceilings, and if that's the case, I'll be able to just let her climb all the way up, which would be amazing. So I feel like for the time being, I'm gonna just treat her as if she's gonna climb forever, and then if she's not, I might be doing a very sad propagation video in a few weeks' time. The other reason that I'm gluing the moss poles to kind of make them really secure is because I've thought about it, and if I do move house, because she's so big, I've just been having to think about how I'm going to get her to my next place, which is about 45 minutes away, and what I'm thinking is I'm going to have to, I've got a couple of very willing friends who have said that they will help me transport her, and we will essentially be carrying her, putting her on a train and taking her to the next house. So I really need to make sure, seeing as this is probably going to be like the gripping point, that this is really secure and it's not going to just fall apart and she will be damaged on the journey. Okay, so it's still a little bit wobbly, but I think it's going to have to do for now. I feel like once I've kind of got the plant tied to it as well and got it kind of climbing a little bit, it'll help kind of hold it in place. I have got a couple of other bits that I want to put on the top of it as well, but I can't fit them in this room, so I'm going to have to wait until it's in its new spot and then try and add them in. Right, I'm going to go and try and bring my variegated monstera over. It is going to be a little bit of a struggle, but we'll see how it goes. Oh my goodness, I'm actually scared she's going to break at the top. She's leaning so much. Can you see that? Okay, I'm just going to try and very gently lie her down, all without hurting any of the leaves. I've just realised that camera angle was not the greatest, so I'm hoping this is slightly better. So yeah, what I just said is I've had her in a waste paper basket as like a pretty pot for a while, and they're actually a really good way if you don't want to spend money on bigger pots, of kind of finding nice ones to go around to the nursery pots. So I've had her in that, but I don't know if you can see, her roots have literally started to grow out of the bottom, so she's definitely ready for a repot. Oh my goodness, she is so big. So as I start trying to get her out of the pot, I asked you guys to send across some questions on Instagram, so I'm gonna go through them and try and answer them at the same time. The first one is, any tips for wet stick propagations? I've not done one before. So for me with wet sticks, basically for those of you that don't know, a wet stick is basically, it's like a cutting without a leaf on it, so it looks just like a section of stem, and it will have a node on it, assuming you've got a good wet stick. It will have a node on it, and basically it will sprout and it will be able to become a full new plant. And for me, I've done wet sticks in quite a few ways. I know the two kind of most popular ways are sphagnum moss and perlite, And for me personally, I've always had a much higher success rate with perlite. I always make like perlite propagation boxes, so just like a clear Tupperware box or something like that, and I will, I will pop some damp perlite into there, keep it closed and keep it somewhere fairly light and fairly warm, and then hopefully, depending on the type of plant, in a few weeks, couple of months, you should start to notice it sprouting and forming. I might need to break this pot. Forming a brand new plant. This is a real struggle. I thought it would lift out fairly easily, and it's not. And I obviously don't want to damage the plant, so I think I might just have to. Oh, it's actually happening quite easily. Break the pot apart. This is also such weird weather that we're having. Those of you in the UK will know at the moment, but it's like April weather. One minute is freezing cold, and the next moment the sun comes out and it turns to like 32 degrees. So I was cold when I first started filming, but now I'm literally sweltering. Okay. Enjoy. Wow, yeah, her roots are absolutely huge. I mean, obviously they're supporting a really big plant, but these roots are crazy. Wow, yeah, I really can't lift her because I don't want to squash her leaves at the top, but those roots are really, really, really crazy. I'm just going to try and separate them a little bit, which, as you guys know, takes quite a bit of time. So I'm going to go through a couple of other questions. Someone said, what's the tat on your wrist? That tattoo there that I don't know if you can see because it's so sunny. So that is my nana, who was an absolutely amazing woman who I was very, very close to. She had this as a pendant that she always used to wear around her neck. And when she died, got the pendant, and the pendant ended up breaking. And so I got it as a tattoo. And that was my first tattoo that I got when I was 18, I think. And yeah, I absolutely love it. It's my favourite. It's one that I know for sure I will never regret in a million years, and I love it. So yeah. Someone else said, what are you propagating right now? So I'm propagating quite a lot actually, or am I? I don't know if I am actually, that might be a total lie. I'm propagating my Philodendron Brantianum. I've got that in sphagnum moss. I have also got various Hoyas in sphagnum moss. I propagated some in a video quite recently, and I think my Hoya pubicalyx I propagated and propagating. I've also got a load of stuff in my propagation box, which I showed you in that video as well. So if you want to see some of my current propagations, feel free to go and have a look at that. And also some of the ones, so my imports from Aroid Market that came in really recently, I'm tempted to take a couple of cuttings from some of them to just, like for example, the Labicia turtleback, that one. It's such a beautiful plant, but because I've never had it before and because it's looking okay, I'm going to do a full update video in a few days, but it's not looking perhaps as amazing as it could be. And I know that apparently after the research that I've done, they are quite easy plants to propagate, so I'm tempted to just take some cuttings of that and hope that even if the main mother plant doesn't survive, then I can still save it. What else am I propagating? I'm propagating my Philodendron Ernestii. I'm propagating various Monstera deliciosa, variegated Monstera, and I'm gonna hopefully swap or sell those cuttings quite soon. I think that's about it. As I say, I have shown you quite a lot in that other video, so by all means go and have a look at that. But I've always got stuff on the go. Like, I just love propagating plants so much. Like, even if I know that I don't need any more in my collection, or I've got no desire to sell them, I just like propagate them and then give them away as like friends' birthday presents. Just giving plants to people just makes me happy. So yeah, I've always got something on the go. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a messy one. I think I'm going to have to hoover the room after I finish filming. This was really good timing as well, because I put an order in with Soil Ninja, who are such an awesome company, and it arrived today. So I've got a really lovely, I'm going to create a really lovely mix for this plant, and hopefully it will just continue to grow, continue to be really, really, really happy and give me lots of lovely new growth. I know I've said before this plant isn't highly variegated, but I really don't mind. I just love her so much, and I've got other plants such as like my White Princess Philodendron and other monsteras that give me my variegation fix. So this one I have just fallen in love with because of her size and because of how magnificent she is. And yeah, this is another reason why I just don't want to chop her. Like, I know I've contemplated it again and again and again for such a long time, and I just don't think I can do it. I just really love her. So if there's any way that I can keep her growing happily and healthily and upwards and not have to propagate, then that is what I'm gonna do. But yeah, as I say, this new place that I might be moving to, everything fell through with the last flat. If you haven't watched all of my videos, that was such a shame, but it wasn't right. What's meant to be will be. But I found this other place that is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It's flooded with light and it would just be amazing for plants. And in general, it's got quite slopey ceilings, which is obviously going to be a challenge because I won't be able to do loads of shelving. I'm going to have to do loads of hangers and stuff like that. But in the middle of the slopes, it's got a really, really high point. And in my mind, I'm just like, this one can just go all the way to the ceiling. And I think the ceilings are probably, oh, I mean, my feet, my measurements in feet isn't good. I would say maybe like 12 foot. I think that's about right. About 12 foot. They're really, really, really tall. So that would be the plan with this one, as I think I've already said, but that's just what I'm constantly thinking about at the moment. I feel like when most people find out they're moving house, they're like, oh, where will my sofa go? Where will my rug go? And I'm literally just like, where are all my plants gonna go? So I'm literally just thinking in my mind, like, where each individual plant will be happiest, what I need to do to kind of put in place to make it happy there. And in my mind, I've kind of organised my plant collection in this new flat already. So fingers crossed it happens. I'll let you know when I know more, but it's still early days. It's still early days, and I know I got so excited about the last one and then it didn't happen. So I'm trying to stay a little bit reserved, and I'm just not very good at that. Like, I tend to just, when I get excited about something, my brain just launches in and just goes a little bit crazy. So I'm trying to just maintain a little bit of composure with it all and doing a very bad job. Doing a very, very, very bad job. But hey, it's fine. That's just how it is. That's just how I am. Right, let's do another question. What's the last plant you killed? Oh, I mean, I can see it from here. My jewel orchids. I know. Which video was it? It was a video recently that I told you guys that I had again. I swear I'm jinxed with this plant, but I knocked my second jewel orchid out of my cabinet and the stem had snapped and I didn't know what to do. And I spoke to various people, and I mean, actually I got loads of really great advice from loads of you, but Sophie from HOUSEPLANTS, who also owns Pally Plants, she has also got a jewel orchid page and is like a jewel orchid pro, and she said that, I think she said let it callus over and then propagate in water, and it's just, I can show you actually, it's just not doing great. It's in this little dessert dish, and you can see it's just losing a lot of colour on some of its leaves. It's looking very floppy. I don't see any movement on any of the nodes yet, but I'm just going to leave it there for the time being and hope that maybe it'll do something. I did put another bit as well in sphagnum moss, and that one's also not looking great, to be honest. So I would say those are probably the last plants that I've basically killed, even if they're not totally dead yet. I hope that's not right. I hope they are going to bounce back. And another one that I have a feeling might be on its way out actually, and this is truly sad. And if you guys know me, you'll know how much I love this plant. This is my Anthurium veitchii, and I did actually put a post on my Instagram story because the chunk bit at the bottom of this plant had basically started to rot. All of the roots are in really good condition. I took it out, I had to look at it, but I had to chop back so many leaves because they were all kind of going like that. I don't know how well you can see. If you can't see, I'll put a clip in. And it just has not been looking very happy, and this new leaf here has gone a bit floppy. So I'm keeping everything crossed for that one because it's one of my favourite plants, and I really do mean that. It's just one of my most prized plants in my collection, and I would be so sad if it didn't make it, but yeah, so it's not dead yet. None of them are dead yet. But that's where we're at with those ones. God, these roots are so hard to get apart. I did actually give this plant a water yesterday in the hope that it might help make things a little bit easier, and it looks like it's just kind of guzzled the water, and it's not easy. It's not an easy job. And I'm also just, every single time I turn it even a little bit, oh, I can feel it kind of, yeah, you can see it's kind of just going like that. And I think after I've done this, I'm gonna have to, yeah, after I've done this, I'm gonna have to get it off the existing pole, attach it to its new pole, and then try and transfer it to the new pot. This really feels like a two-person job, I'm not gonna lie. The next question is, it's winter in Sydney, Australia. Would a dehumidifier help the houseplants? The house is damp. So this person did actually send me a message as like a continuation of this question, saying that they've got a damp problem in the house, and basically they need to get a dehumidifier, but they know that the plants like it humid and their calatheas are starting to curl and stuff like that. And I really know the position that you're in, because basically my basement room gets incredibly damp, and until I moved back home, my mum did have to have a dehumidifier down there because it would be mold everywhere otherwise. And I haven't used a dehumidifier since I've moved back home, and the way that I've got around that is just by increasing air circulation. Like, I will have the windows open, even when it's cold, I'll have the windows open for at least like 3-4 hours a day, and then I'll have a fan in there, I'll get the circulation going. And I guess if even with that you're having damp problems, then you might just have to get a dehumidifier in there. I mean, so long as it's not completely taking any humidity out of the air, if you can manage to keep it at least 60% for your plants, for the sake of your plants, then I would say that would be absolutely fine. But yeah, obviously you need to think about your house as well. So that is personally what I would do. Or even if you can just, I don't know, run your dehumidifier. What I would do, okay, so roundabout way. What I would do is, if you haven't already, I would get a like a thermostat humidity stats type thing down there so that you can see where it's at. Get yourself some fan systems so that the air is circulating. It's not just stagnant in one place. It's not gonna cause things like mold and mildew and all that sort of stuff. And if it gets beyond kind of 70 or 80 and the air's not moving, then I would use a dehumidifier maybe. That's a really tough one though, but as I say, I do know that it can work because of the room that I'm in down there, and the fact that it was awful for ages, and now I just open the windows, get the fans on, and it's fine. So that would be my very roundabout advice, if that made sense. Yeah, I know, it really contradicts, doesn't it, like wanting to try and get the humidity up for your plants and then trying to take it away at the same time. I would say also, and I haven't done this personally myself, but I know other people that have, and I'd probably give it a Google or something, but I've heard people say that you can actually, the water that collects from your dehumidifier is actually really pure, and it's amazing for watering your plants. So on the times where you are running your dehumidifier, you could do that. You could keep them happy that way. What I really need to do now is I need to flip it over to get to the other side, but I really can't do that unless I create a little like thing for it to sit on at that end, but I just think I'm asking for an accident if I do that. So yeah, no, I'm just gonna have to carry on this way. We're slowly getting there. What is your current favourite genus? I know what genus means, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it means species of plant. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. My favourite genus, however you meant to say it, I would say is probably philodendron. I was going to say Hoya because, oh my goodness, I'm really loving Hoyas at the moment. But I would say probably philodendron, just because they're so incredibly versatile, and in the last kind of 6 months I've added quite a few really gorgeous philodendrons to my collection, including crawling philodendrons, which I wasn't really that familiar with before, like Philodendron gloriosum, Philodendron marme. In fact, this is maybe not that fun, but my little Philodendron marme I needed to put in a trough planter, but I didn't want to put it in a massive one, so I made it this little planter, and it's in completely pure pon at the moment, but it's actually just an ice cream tub that I wrapped string around and super glued down, but I use that as kind of like its water tray, which really needs filling actually, like its little reservoir, and then the plant in pond can sit on top, and I think it looks really pretty. And obviously it costs like nothing to make at all. But yeah, I would say philodendron is my favourite species of plants, just because, as I say, it's really adaptable, really hardy on the whole, really easy to grow, really easy to propagate. Really easy to propagate. And yeah, just such a diverse plant. I've got loads that, I mean, unless you kind of know philodendrons very well, if you were not that well acquainted with plants, you'd look at them and you'd be like, oh, they're so different, like velvet leaf philodendrons and stuff like that. And I just love them. I really love them. So that is my answer for that one, if I had to say. But as I say, Hoyas as well. I've acquired some pretty amazing Hoyas recently, so maybe they should be my favourite. It's between those two. I've got a lot that I really like though. I love Syngoniums as well. I love Monsteras as well. But yeah, I think it's got to be philodendron for now. The same person asked, how do you see your collection evolving in the next year? So right now, where I'm at right now, although like I'm always wanting to buy more plants, I think for the time being, I want to say that I'm done. Am I done? For the time being, I want to say that I'm not gonna buy any more plants. I will be completely open to like swaps and stuff like that. But I just like, I've got so many gorgeous plants, and to be honest, I really feel like I do appreciate 99% of them. I really do. But I don't want to overwhelm myself to the point that I don't get joy from my individual plants anymore, if that makes sense. Sorry, there's building work going on next door, and it's very annoying. But yeah, I mean, this all might change when I move house, because then obviously I'll have my own space. I won't be crowding my mum's space, and maybe I'll just go crazy. I don't know. But for the time being, I think it's sensible to say that I see my collection evolving slowly through swaps and propagations for the foreseeable future. I might not stick to that, but that is what I would hope for the time being anyway. Okay, so I would say that is most of the soil off. It's pretty much all gone. There's a tiny bit left, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to disrupt the root ball too much, because I've got up to the stem where it was propagated from, and I think I'm happy. Oh, okay. Okay, I guess the next thing is to get it off the existing pole and get it onto the new pole. Oh, it's gonna be so scary and floppy when I take it off the support, but I know it has to be done. So, this is also really tricky because loads of the aerial roots are wound round the existing pole and have kind of attached themselves. So, well, I might need to do a little bit of cutting. Okay, in theory, this existing pole should just lift out now. I don't know if it's going to. Ah, there we go. I made this pole probably just over a year ago, and it's basically, as you can see at the bottom there, it's just bamboo canes, super glued. Again, you know how much I love super gluing stuff. Super glued together, and then just like really thick, what's it called? String, it's got a proper name, can't remember. Really thick string just wound around it and glued at the top, and to be honest, it hasn't been the best thing for them to grip onto, for the aerial roots to kind of attach themselves to, but I'm hoping, I know this isn't actually the best thing either, but as I say, I have some of these lying around, and it seems such a shame to just throw them away and not use them, especially when I know that I can get them to the height I need for this plant. I don't know how secure this is gonna be. I think really I should probably wind some string around this as well as a whole to kind of hold it together. I think I should probably do that, shouldn't I? Yeah, if I'm going to be carrying this plant on a train at some point soon, then I think, although I really can't be bothered to do it, I think that is probably the sensible option. I also cannot see myself and I have no idea if I'm even in shots. I have a feeling I might have cut my head off, and if I have, this is going to be a really bad video. So I've just got this twine stuff there, and I'm gonna just tie it at the bottom and then just probably go up and down and just try and hold it in place a little bit better, and hopefully that'll help to make it more secure and it won't fall apart. Someone was asking about watering these moss poles, core poles, and whether or not they go mouldy and stuff like that, because obviously they're not actual moss and they're not the best thing in the world. But what I personally do, I will water them, but only when they're like bone dry. I've never ever had an issue with mould with them. But what I do on a pretty regular basis, I've got a sprayer like this, and oh my goodness, I could just spray myself right now. There we go. I don't know if you can tell, it produces quite a decent spray. It used to be a method bottle, like a method cleaning product, and I've just reused it as this because the spray on it is really, really good. And I'll usually just spray up the pole in the points where the aerial roots are touching, and that just kind of helps them to grip on and attach themselves, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I've done. That's what I've done so far with these type of moss poles. And to be fair, I've got both my pink princess and my white princess on the exact same type of pole, and they've gripped on really well, and they've seemed happy. So that's kind of, yeah, that's what I do, and it seems to work. But as I say, if you're able to, maybe not with a plant of this scale, but if you're able to kind of make an actual moss pole or get two conjoining moss poles that are slightly bigger, then that is personally what I would recommend. It is just the best. It does keep those aerial roots happy. The next question is, how many plants do you have? Oh God, that's a tricky one. So I haven't actually counted in a very long time. I would estimate in this room alone, I would say I've probably got close to 200, not counting propagations, which I know is scary. I would say maybe I will count at some point, or maybe if I'm feeling productive, I will count before I put this video up, and I will put the number on the screen somewhere. I would estimate between 200 and 250 maybe. That is literally just off the top of my head though, and some days when I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, I feel like I've got loads of plants, and then other days where I'm just like, I love plant care, it's amazing. I feel like I haven't got any, and I'm like, I need to get more plants because I'm running out of things to do. Does anyone else do that? Oh God, I do that all the time. I think because my plant care is literally my self-care as well. It's like meditation for me, and some days if I have the luxury of spending like 5 hours doing watering and pruning and stuff like that, and I love it so much, when I realise that I'm on top of everything, I'm like, no, I need more stuff to do. And so that's when I'm like, I need more plants, and sometimes get sucked into buying more plants, and I just need to stop. Yeah, that's me. Anyone else have that? Anyone else? It's so warm in here, oh my goodness. I can't even get the fan going because then you won't be able to hear me. Also, very boring question, I know, but for anybody who's still watching, is like such a silly question, I know, but audio in my videos, is it okay? Do I need to get like a microphone system? Because I know a lot of people do use them, and I've never done it, and I always am just like, no, my phone, which I film on all the time, my phone microphone is fine. Oh, that's a tongue twister. My phone microphone is fine. And then when I'm filming videos like this that aren't kind of right next to my camera, I kind of think maybe it's not fine. So let me know your opinion. And if anyone's got any microphone suggestions, then please do let me know, because I know nothing about that sort of thing. Okay, already I can feel that this is making it more secure. So I'm just gonna go back down the pole, and then we can start doing the fun stuff. It's also going to be really, really weird not having my Variegated Monstera in the background of my videos anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure since my very first YouTube video, when she was about that big, she has been in the background of, I think, more or less every single video, or been featured in a lot of videos. So it's going to be really strange. She's one of my first like rare plants. I know Variegated Monsteras aren't considered uber rare anymore, but when I first got her, oh my goodness, I was just beside myself with happiness. I was so happy. I think she was probably about there. She had, I think, about 3 or 4 leaves, and I just thought she's the most beautiful thing in the world. I do still think she's the most beautiful thing in the world, to be honest, but yeah, I just can't get over how quickly she's grown. And actually, I feel like, and I know you can't see her because she's too long, but I feel like she's gonna look taller once I've got her properly staked in her new position, because she's kind of, because of how she can't touch the ceiling, she's kind of bent round to kind of, why can't I talk today? She's bent her growth round so that she doesn't go straight up, if that makes sense. So I think if I'm able to kind of just subtly straighten her a little bit, then she's gonna be pretty huge, which I'm really happy about. I'm very excited about. Okay, I'm glad that I did that, because although it's still a little bit wobbly, it's definitely better than it was. I also don't know if you can tell how long her aerial roots are, but they're pretty insane. I'm gonna have to maybe give them a little chop. I don't really like to do it, but when they're this big, and that's coming from like the top node, I feel like there's not a lot I can do apart from just wind it around the pole. And for some reason, and it's just really, really annoying, aerial roots always have a tendency to mark the walls, and because she's going up into my mum's space, I really don't want her to mark the walls, and then I'll be in trouble for planty things again. So I may have to give them a little trim. For now, I think I'm just gonna try and do my best to kind of even her out and attach her, because, oh, is that the best way to do it? Or am I making this really complicated for myself? Okay, so I'm just trying to kind of line her up with where I think her roots will be and the bottom of the pot is going to be, and then I'm going to tie her in place, and then I will deal with the aerial roots afterwards once she's potted up and more upright. I also just want to check the depth of the new pot, so I'm going up, I think, about 3 pot sizes since the last one. So that's the old size and this is the new size, and I think this is going to be more than big enough, but it's obviously a lot deeper. So where's that going to come to? Okay, so I want to start tying her from about here. The next one is show us your current favourite leaf, and I will come back to that one because I don't know what it is firstly, and I can't really move right now. So the one after that, what planty things are you struggling with at the moment? So I showed you, well, my Veitchii and my jewel orchid, they're definite struggles at the moment, and I mean the jewel orchid especially, I just don't see a lot of hope for at the moment unless it takes a sudden miraculous turn for the better. I don't really know what's going to happen with that one. My Veitchii, I still kind of have hope, but the fact that it had rotten so far up, like at the base of the stem where the roots join, I used hydrogen peroxide on it and I chopped it right back. I sealed it with wax. I basically, for like a few days, I didn't even plant it back in soil. I let it callus over, and then I just kind of dipped the roots into water and let them sit there for a bit so that it wasn't even in damp soil, if that makes sense. And it's still not looking great, so I'm worried about that. Also, I just thought of on the last plant that you killed, I completely forgot to mention my Anthurium warocquianum. That is one that I know you guys, I spoke about so much. I was struggling with for quite a while, and again just rotted. Like when I first got it, it was planted in a pot that was absolutely huge. It had a tiny root system. The root system had started to rot, and there wasn't a lot I could do. I tried so many things, and in the end, the final resort was to completely chop her foliage back. I tried her in sphagnum moss. I tried her in a perlite propagation box. I tried her in water. Nothing worked, and I had to part with her. I had to throw her in the bin. So that was very sad. That was very, very sad. God, these aerial roots are an absolute mission. I think I'm going to have to do a little trim even now. Like, I don't want to have to make it a massive trim, but they are long and they are getting in the way. And oh, I'm scared that I'm smushing her lovely leaves. the aerial roots that have kind of gone down to the soil and essentially like planted themselves, I'm definitely going to keep them because they're obviously helping give the plant nutrients. But the ones that have got excessively long and are just kind of hanging there, those are the ones that I feel like I need to be willing to part with a little bit. The next question was, how is the new house search going? And I feel like I've probably spoken about that quite a lot already. But yeah, it's looking positive at the moment. As I say, the last place, for various reasons, just didn't work out. But this new place is dreamy and I can't wait to, as I say, can't wait to get my plants in there if it goes ahead. It's another place that I think Yoli will be so happy as well. It's close to beautiful countryside. It would just be amazing for her. And obviously, as I've said before, at the moment where I am, she's obviously not in the room today. She could not be in the room for this because I think there would be major damage done. But whilst I'm back at my mum's, she's really, really bad with cats, and my mum's got a cat, so she pretty much most of the time has to be in the same room as me or on her lead. And yeah, it's not ideal because obviously she's a very active dog. She's a big gal, she's got lots of energy, and she needs to be able to roam freely, do her own thing. Don't get me wrong, she has very long walkies, but yeah, it's not fair on her to have to be shut in one space. So yeah, I think it will be so great for her, so great for me, so great for the plants, and I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted with it all because I'm so excited. I'm so ready to move out as much as I love it here. I'm ready for my own space and to not have to as well, because I'm trying to post more on YouTube and whatnot, and I love doing these videos. I love creating planty content, but because this isn't my space, my house, I always kind of have to book time slots when I want to do it and be sure to kind of stick within them, which is gonna be a bit of a struggle for this video, I think. But that's just how it goes, and that's fine, that's fair. But I can't wait till I'm out in my own space. I can do everything in my own time. I can have Yoli with me and not have to worry about cats or anything like that. So that's what I'm most excited about, to be honest, right now. Oh my goodness, I've got to be so careful. The petioles are so fragile, and I so don't want to knock any leaves off. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to just be a little bit brutal with these aerial roots and give some of them a real chop back, because I keep thinking that I've broken a leaf when it's actually just an aerial root kind of snapping and making a noise. So, okay, we're nearly, well, we're not nearly there, but we're closer than we were before. Like, look at the length of that. Isn't that just ridiculous? Okay, right, so that is all apart from the top 4 or 5 leaves completely secured, I hope. So yeah, that's what it's looking like at the moment. And this section, oh, where's my hand? This section here, I'm gonna have to do, as I say, when it's in its new position, just because if I try and do that now, then it's not gonna fit in the room. And I actually haven't really thought about how I'm gonna transport it once I've repotted it. We'll cross that bridge. Right, so now I need to mix up some soil for it. I'm gonna very carefully pop it there. So, as I said, I had an order from Soil Ninja come in today, which is so brilliant. It's such great timing. So I'm gonna mix my soil in here, and so far all I've got in here is just standard houseplant potting soil and some perlite. What I do nowadays is I basically soak my perlite with water before I mix it indoors, just because it's so bad for you to breathe in. So I basically just put a load of water at the bottom of the pot and then poured it all in, and that is currently what it is looking like. I'm just fully accepting the fact that I'm going to be really covered in soil after this. But I'm also going to add into it, so houseplant soil, perlite. The soil that I'm using has also got grit in there as well, and some kind of like chunky bark, which is good. And from Soil Ninja, I got some worm castings, which is just so brilliant. This plant loves them so much. I had it in its original mix, and they're just great for naturally fertilising the soil. And then I've also got some horticultural charcoal, which is brilliant. And again, just some more bark, just because I think this is orchid bark, just because, again, texture, drainage, it's really great. So I'm gonna just add some of that in, and kind of looking at that pot, I think I'm probably gonna need some more normal soil as well. So maybe I'll do that first and then I'll stir everything else in I need to get like an actual stirrer that's not my hand because because it's going to get very, very messy. Hey ho. I'll do another question while I'm doing this, but the next one is, what is your number one goal in life? My number one goal in life. I don't think I have just one goal in life. I think, as ridiculously cliche as it sounds, I think to be happy, to do what I love, to feel like I'm fulfilled in all the aspects of my life that really matter to me. I mean, work for me is important, but I've got a million times I've said this, but I would always much prefer to be poor and happy doing what I'm doing than rich and doing something that I hate. And I've always really been like that. I mean, I trained as an actor, and I know that unless you're kind of like megastar, working as an actor is not always the best paid job in the world, and it's very hit or miss. And I've always been really, really drawn to creative avenues, and I guess that kind of feeds into what I'm doing now with YouTube and just like planty content creating, which is never, ever, ever something that I thought I would be doing. This is the worm castings, by the way. And I'm not measuring. I always used to be so specific with my measurements, and nowadays I just free pour, and I'm just like, I feel like I'll kind of know when, yeah, like I feel like I've just used basically probably a handful of that, and I think that'll work well. I'm just guessing. But yeah, obviously finding a good balance in my life, having good people in my life. I'm so lucky I've got a wonderful family and really amazing friends. And just doing things that fulfill me on all the levels I feel that I need to be fulfilled, without sounding really weird about that. I think the older I get, the more reclusive I get, for sure. But I think the reason for that is just because I realise kind of more now what I need to do for myself and not so much for other people. Like when I was younger, I mean, even up until a few years ago, to be honest, I was very kind of like, go out all the time, must be socialising, must always be doing something. And nowadays, if I'm just like pottering with my plants and I don't speak to another person all day, I'm really not that fussed. Like obviously you need a balance. I couldn't do that every single day and never speak to another person, but I'm a lot happier just kind of doing my thing and not feeling like I'm doing it for anybody else. So life goal, yeah, I think that's something I want to continue to build on. I think I need to listen to myself more, and I think I need to listen to what I actually need and not be apologetic about that. Like a really, really silly example, or a weird example, is like when someone says, like, what are you doing tonight? Are you free? And you just can't be bothered. So you make up like a stupid excuse. I've got so much better in these last few years at being like, you know what? I really just can't be bothered tonight. Like as much as I love you, I really can't be bothered. So I think life goal is to just be as honest with myself as I possibly can be, and surround myself with the things that make me happy. I think that's pretty much life goal. I know that's not kind of maybe a set in stone, I want to do this, I want to get here. There's more practical things as well that I guess I would potentially like to achieve in my life, but I think that's like the fundamental. That is the most important for me right now. So yeah, that is where I'm up to with that. Let's do one more. God, I'm being so bad. I'm just touching the phone with soily hands, so I'm gonna have to wipe the phone down as well. What's your routine when feeding plants? So I have talked about I've shown you my watering routine before in a few videos, but I will always, maybe not with this plant now, she's got so big, but with pretty much all of my plants, I always bring them over to this washing up bowl that I've got, and I'll put a towel next to it and kind of like a little drainage mat, and I will water them all individually. And I know that sounds like so much effort, but it's just how I love doing it. Like I hardly ever go round to them and water them in their spots, because every single one of them is in a pot that has a drainage hole and needs to be drained, if that makes sense. So when I feed my plants, I'm using liquid gold leaf at the moment, which is, oh my goodness, it's just the best fertilizer ever. I can show you a bottle because it's right here. sorry, it's a bit soily now, but it's that stuff, and it contains every single nutrient that indoor plants need for healthy growth, and I'm giving it to all of my plants, and they are, on the whole, bar my veitchii and my jewel orchid, they are so happy with that. So that is what I do. Like, I just add a tiny bit. There are like little pipettes that they use to like measure it out. Again, I free pour nowadays. I don't use very much of it, but I just kind of, yeah, keep it as a little like whoop in my water, and then bring all my plants over, and I do it that way. And for most of my plants at this time of year, because obviously it's spring going on summer, I will I'll fertilize them pretty much every single time that I water them. There's a few that I don't. There's a few that I know if they're a little bit sensitive or they don't look like they're pushing out any new growth or anything like that, then I maybe will just do a pure water, no fertilizer thing. But on the whole, I'll do that for all of them, and I really enjoy doing it that way, even if it does seem like effort. Right, oh my God, look at my hands. Okay, right. I need a bigger potting mat. This is a huge one, but it's just not doing the trick. Oh, standing this plant up is gonna be tricky. Okay. So that is what the mix is looking like. It's nice and airy, nutritious, and I'm gonna just start, and I'm gonna just see how we get on. I thought that was a potato. It's just a rock, and I've no idea how that got in there. Okay, this is the scary bit. This is where I need to stand the plant up, and this is where I think I'll probably need to move the camera back a bit. There's no way I'm going to be able to get the whole thing in shots because she's too big, but I'm going to try and just move the camera back ever so slightly. Right, okay. Here goes. Please work. Oh, it's gonna be a squeeze. She's gonna hit the ceiling. Okay. What do I do? I think I'm gonna have to finish the repot on the half landing in the spot that she's gonna actually go on. I don't see another way, because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to get her in the pot. Right, okay. Bear with. So I started taking her upstairs, and I thought I would actually, seeing as the sun's out, to do this last bit outside so you could kind of see her going up in all her glory. The next question was any tips/tricks on moving with loads of plants, because I'm about to. So am I hope. Well, as I said already, with my massive Monstera, I've got a couple of great friends that have agreed to kind of literally walk her, like hold her and walk her with me to the train station, get on a train and travel 45 minutes to then get her to her new place. But apart from that, like corrugated cardboard, rolling your plants is a really good way to do it. I did a video ages ago, like one of my first ones, on packaging plants, and that's a really secure way of doing it. But I'm with you, I've got like 250, 300 plants, I don't know. So I know it's going to be a bit of a struggle putting them all in boxes and transporting them yourself. I know some people do get movers in, but I don't trust anyone with my plants. So that's me, but I will be making a video on it. If when are you moving? Are you moving like in the next week or two? If you can wait a few weeks, then maybe I'll be moving with you, and maybe we can talk about it together. Right, but again, I'm sorry if you can't hear me very well. I'm just gonna try and get her in the pot, fill her up with soil, and then give her a water, and then transport her upstairs to her new spot. Look how pretty she is. And look how tall. That's the bit that I still need to stake at the top, just there. I'm in a dilemma because I literally need like another 3 handfuls of soil, and she's not that secure. Oh, in fact, I feel like I see her falling. I might need to go get my mum. Mum? Hello everyone, this is my mum.
Well, welcome to my garden. This is one of my native plants. It suddenly sprung up on the lawn, and I'm kind of getting to like it. And dangly bits. You're going to edit this bit out, aren't you?
And we're back. Bye. Okay, so I feel like once it's inside and the wind isn't blowing it, and I can kind of lean it up against the wall, I think this is good. I'm gonna give it a water, let it drain, and then move it, hopefully move it inside to its final spot. Okay. So the big reveal, here she is, and she looks absolutely beautiful there. It was so difficult getting her up here. Oh my goodness, again, I had to get my mum to help me because I honestly couldn't do it by myself, and it's making me think that when I do move, I'm gonna have to maybe rethink my way of getting her to her new position. I'll go upstairs and show you her from below. Does anybody at all have any suggestions about how you would recommend moving her? Because if you do, please let me know, because I don't know. But yeah, I didn't get through as many questions as I wanted to, so I might continue them in another video or over on Instagram. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.